Yeah. This is the Legacy League. Tell me what will your legacy be? Yeah.
Welcome to the playoff edition of the Postgame show. We had the first round and the quarterfinals last Thursday night. We got a special guest in the building, a champion, a legend in the Legacy League's realm. People remember back in the day, Dom, I think you played on Redemption, I want to say, or I forget your first team in this league. But how are we feeling, Dom?
Yeah, good. Legacy League legend over here. Played with Redemption, and then I think I had a TMC stint one year.
Yep.
So,
Everyone has a TMC stint at one point.
yeah, at one point. I think Flint left the league one year or something like that.
They did,
So,
and then you made your way home. But I'm glad to
absolutely.
have you on, Dom. We got Vin, we got Brendan, we got Racine. But, since we got Dom here, we're going to go a little out of order because we're going to get into a playoff matchup that was one of the better games for the first three quarters. And then I think the team we expected to pulled away in the end. And that was my Flint Tropics taking down Lord's Army 88-73. I'm gonna go in a little few ways here, but first, Dom, I'm gonna ask you, how did it feel back in playoff action, and how was this game? How did Lord's Army fight, and how'd you guys pull this one out?
Good, man. I thought we did a good job just sustaining Lord's Army's attack because they had a really, really good game. I think they came in with a defensive mindset, and they knew that we were limited with numbers. We were missing TJ, Caggiano, and Pat. So they really attacked us with numbers, and I think playing that first game, they brought some consistency and flow into our game, and they had a good game plan. But ultimately, the big three showed up, and it felt good to be in playoff contention again, man. So we're on a mission, and hopefully we get it done this time.
Yeah, no, amen to that. And I'll ask you one more question. You guys obviously one of the favorites. I'd say you and TMC are the two favorites. I think there's anything you guys got to work on going forward, or is it just business as
Yeah,
usual? Focus on what's ahead of us.
I think we got to be better defensively. Um, Again, we have three of the best offensive scoring machines in the league, but I think what it comes down to is we got to execute defensively, and when we do, I think we're a pretty scary team. So.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'll kick it to these interns. I'm going to go to Racine first. Racine, you've seen Flint all year. These are these guys' first year ever seeing Flint. Obviously I've seen like these teams a bunch. Racine, how'd you feel in this one? Flint kind of took it to Lord's Army at the end there.
Yeah, it was a tough game, but they ultimately at the end they got it done. But this is about their big three, like Don mentioned. Matt Fink dropped 33, Quan Jackson 26, Mike Pizzuto at 22. So in the playoffs, you need your stars to show up, and that's what they did. But I thought what was interesting, the past couple of games, Flint always pulls away in the third, but in this game they had to pull away in the fourth, and that's just a credit to Lord's Army. They battled all game, but ultimately fell a little short. But I really like the way they play. They play team ball, and they get a lot of their guys involved. So it's a good season for Lord's Army, but Flint, another good game and a tough game to be ready for when they play Get Money.
Yeah, no, Vin. Vin always sometimes has hot takes. Let's see. How'd you feel in this one? Flint did their job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give a quick shout out though to Lord's Army. They had a great game against Syndicate earlier in the day, and they were definitely riding that momentum into the Flint Tropic game. We saw it. Obviously, Flint Tropic wasn't clicking at first, but we know what Flint Tropic is capable of. We know what they've been doing this whole year, going undefeated. The only team also to go undefeated, and then to dominate in that fourth quarter. Like Racine said, it's about your big players coming in the big moments, and they definitely were capable of rising to the challenge that Lord's Army brought. But I don't see any reason why people who like Flint Tropic or the team itself has to really worry. I think they're in a great position right now. Got to deal with the next two games, but right now I still don't see why they're not the favorites. I think they're doing a great job so far.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do want to give a credit to Lord's Army too. Lord's Army played their ass off, especially against they destroyed Syndicate. We'll get to that in a second, but I got to give them a lot of credit. They fought, they played hard. I want to give a credit too to Maul. Maul was all over the court last night. He had a really, really good game, and just so you guys know, it's Jamal Winner. He's number 15. He plays physical. He had a great game, and I just want to give Lord's Army their flowers. It's not easy to play Flint. Yeah, it's not easy especially when you got Dom hitting threes, and like Dom said, there was no TJ, no Pat. Caggiano wasn't even there. Like this Flint team, still shorthanded, is an incredibly hard team to beat. And Lord's Army, they gave them all they could. So I just really want to give Lord's Army a shout out and some credit there. Dom, I'm going to kick it back to you. You got anything else for us? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, man. I want to say like this is a good league this year. I think this has been the best year in terms of like parity. I think since 2017, which I think is the greatest year in Legacy League history. You know what I mean? All the OGs know. But I mean, dude, some of these like records they don't reflect how good some of the teams are. Like I think like Get Money could have easily been like a 2 seed or a 3 seed. It's just I think that one game that they didn't have Nas show up against, Lord's Army. Lord's Army was an 8 seed. They definitely could have been higher. So I think the parity in this league this year was awesome, and it's going to be a good playoff. I know there's a lot of chalk, but the games are very, very close. So this is a good year of Legacy League.
Yeah, no, I agree. This year, I couldn't agree more. I think that the middle of the pack this year was so tight where, like, you have Snipe Squad playing Lord's Army. Like, anyone can win that game. You have Street Ballers playing Lux Gang. Like, anyone could win any of these games at any point. So I couldn't agree more. But speaking of Lord's Army, we're going to get to our first playing game. And this was Lord's Army. This is the cousin matchup here. We got Lord's Army against Syndicate. And Lord's Army smoked them. I mean, this wasn't even close. Shout out Alex Rivera and Syndicate. I know they didn't have a full team, but I mean, Lord's Army, Randy Kahn was on fire. He shot 8 of 11. Again, Jamal Winner. Maul had his best night of Legacy League action. Jason Hernandez, Morales. I mean, look, this Lord's Army team, they came in and they said, Syndicate, we're not giving you any hope at all. Eric Moore took 19 threes. I kind of respect it. He's just kind of gunning out there. But I mean, look, Racine, I'm going to go to you, and then I'll go to Vin. I mean, what did you see from Lord's Army in this one? And I guess, we talked about Lord's Army a bunch, so what could Syndicate have done better this year to maybe pull out a victory? Because they do end the season, unfortunately, winless.
Yeah, it was a great team win again by Lord's Army. I mean, if you're looking at the stats here, Jamal Winter 19, Randy Kahn 19, Jason Hernandez 18, Jacob Morales 16, Jason Velez 13, Sean Taylor 11. Like, that's so many guys in double figures, and that's a great show that everybody's getting in touch on the ball and being able to put up shots. But yeah, as for Syndicate, I think the biggest thing is if you want to win games in this league or just in general, you need your team to show up. But yeah, unfortunately, they only had 4 of the guys. And credit to them because the game was actually close throughout the first and second quarter. But then the second quarter is when Lord's Army started to pull away. So I guess fatigue probably played a factor into that. And then onto the second half, you can see the Syndicate's offense wasn't very smooth. It was just kind of running through Eric Moore, but he wasn't able to hit his shots, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a disappointing season for Syndicate. They had their moments throughout the season, but this is all about Lord's Army and their great team win.
Yeah, no, Lord's Army outscored the Syndicate. Oh, and someone's calling me at work. Typical. Sorry, Joey. Shout out Don Adams, one of our clients. But I just got to say really quick, Syndicate got outscored 68-23 in the second and third quarter. That's not going to cut it. And I think that's something that they gotta, if they come back next year, they gotta find some depth and they gotta find ways to close this game because this game for Lord's Army was very, mini Flint-esque. Everyone touching the ball, everyone scoring, everyone, participating. Vin, same thing. What'd you see in this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the score speaks for itself, but Syndicate did actually have a very competitive first quarter. I think the score ending the first was like 27-26 with the Syndicate up. But I think it's like Racine said, the fatigue started to kick in. The lack of depth on the bench was clearly being shown. And that offense, this is all just kicking back to what Racine said. He hit on the head with it. Their offense, their passing wasn't great. They weren't really doing well inside the paint. Not many rebounds. I mean, a lot of turnovers. And when you have an offense that's playing like that, that's not going to cut it against the number 1 seed or the number 10 seed. It's not going to cut it. I think, like you said, Greg, it's going to be about what they need to improve. They also need to work on defensively because I feel like once they start to feel like, okay, this game's kind of over, they don't look to finish it out and they lack the desire to go back on defense, which obviously results in the other team scoring more. So I think that there just needs to be a little bit of a change in perspective on how they play this game and maybe the way that they get their offense going, because clearly last night was not it at all.
Yeah, Yeah, I agree. Head up, Syndicate. I know they'll be back. I know they got something cooking. Head up, keep pushing. But for Lord's Army, look, we talked about their two matchups. Honestly, halfway through this year, we were like, "What's going on with this team?" If you told them, "Hey, you lost to Flint in the quarterfinals," you lost by what? It was like a 15-ish point game. It was close at times. They fought. They had a great year. They should keep their head up and really be proud of what they did. And maybe next year bring in a few more pieces and compete a little more. But we're going to get through the next game, which is a little more of a, again, shout out. That was Enterprise Elite and Street Ballers. I want to give a quick shout out to Enterprise Elite. I've been on a team that won one game, never on a team that never won a game, but it's not easy coming and getting your ass kicked every single week. I know we're all, we all got egos. It sucks losing. Losing sucks, especially when you're getting killed. And, playing teams like Flint, TMC, get money. It's not easy when you have 3 guys, 4 guys, especially when you're not on the best team. Enterprise Elite came every week. They played hard. Shout out Vin Callahan, Josh Browdy, John Browdy, and Cole Pezenti. They were here every week, fighting hard, playing hard, and I got to give them credit. Josh Browdy did all he could in this game, but it just wasn't enough. And I got to real quick, Jojito Acosta might be the most underrated player in this league all of a sudden. Number 0 on Street Ballers. We'll talk about him against TMC. He is a problem. I'm going to go to Brendan. Brendan, what'd you see in this one, and how did Street Ballers take down Enterprise Elite?
Yeah, we definitely got to go back to talking about Acosta. I think his performance against Enterprise Elite was overshadowed by his performance against TMC. But as for Enterprise Elite, like you said, shout out them. Those same 3 or 4 guys showed up pretty much every week, and they worked their asses off. But it's especially in a 4-on-4 league, it's just not where you want to find yourself week in and week out. And 4 guys coming every week, it's just going to be hard for them to find a win. They were there for the first quarter and a half of that game. I think they led all the way up until halftime, and they were up by as much as 15 at one point. But then fatigue just started to set in. Guys got into foul trouble, and it just same Enterprise Elite we've seen so far in the second half. Josh Browdy's shooting the lights at the gym as he can, but only big piece on offense. There's only so much you can do. But shout out to Enterprise Elite, man. They, like you said, they play their asses off. They played until the final whistle, down 20 or down 5.
Yeah, no, I agree. Dom, Dom, as a champion, a winner, someone who knows winning. Any advice you could give to some of these teams in these playing games? Any wise words?
Dude, sometimes it's like that. Best thing I could compare it to is that like NFL playoff when the wild card team plays and the first overall seed has that like bye week.
Yeah.
Essentially, like for Lord's Army or Street Ballers, they essentially had like a warm up, and then they open up with TMC Street Ballers, and they were basically beating them by a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
Lord's Army's giving us a run for our money. Sometimes that play-in game is very useful. So if a team does lose a lot and they have that play-in, they can use it to their advantage.
Use their advantage, yeah. Maybe get their momentum going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, shout out one more time, Lord's Army, Enterprise Elite. Great season, guys. And the Syndicate, great season, guys. But, hey, they'll be back. They'll be back better than ever. But we're going to get into a very good game, which, some of us thought would be one of the better games of the week, and that's Get Money and NLMB. And Get Money pulled this one out 78-69. And this one was the Kyle Davis show. Kyle went crazy. Kyle with 43 points. He shot 60% from the field. He shot damn near 60% from 3. When Kyle's hot like this, it's hard to beat this Get Money team, because the funny thing about Kyle is he's a great shooter, but his athleticism is incredible, and it's usually guys' strengths is either shooting or they can drive to the hole really well, and he does both really well. And this Get Money team's playing great basketball. Like Dom said, they had Nas in the game. Nas is a big X factor for this Get Money team. He gives them that size. But, I'm going to go to the interns over here. I know we got a Get Money fan in Racine. I know Vin likes some Get Money. What did NLMB kind of had an off game? Racine, what did you see? And then we'll go to Vin. What did you see in this one?
Yeah, like you said, this was the Kyle Davis show. He put on his cape. He told his team, "I got us today." Put his team on his back. He was unstoppable while he was driving to the paint. He was shooting mid-range shots, or he was shooting the 3. They couldn't stop him. But what I find was kind of interesting enough, NLMB didn't play that much well from their others, but their stars showed up. Christian just had 26, and Dr. Hodge had 25, and still Get Money still won pretty comfortably. I know the score is kind of a little close, but it's still Get Money still won the game comfortably. But yeah, like you said, Greg, when Kyle Davis is playing the way like he is right now, Get Money is going to be a very, very hard team to stop. So it's going to be definitely going to be a problem for Flint Tropics next week.
Yeah, I mean, look, NLMB, I love those guys over there. If they're shooting 12 of 45 from three, there's zero chance they're beating any team in this league. They're a three-heavy team, and when your two best players are 5 of 19 and 7 of 21 from the three-point line, especially with the type of team they have, it's going to be really hard to beat Get Money when you got KD just going off. And, NLMB had a good year. I just think they're missing that one piece that could really put them to the next level. They need one more guy. I mean, if they had a Kyle Davis, if they had just one other, like a Shaquan Jackson on this team, like they need someone to help the other guys, because then Christian and Dante, Alex, these guys are great supplemental players. They're stars. They're incredible guys, but I feel like they're just missing that one guy. Vin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys said it perfectly. NLB played a great game, but they're definitely missing somebody. It's just you watch this team and they're hitting threes, but sometimes inside the paint they're just not as dominant as you would like them to be, and that's where a guy like Nas or Shaquan Jackson comes into play. Someone who can just be physical inside, and I think that's all going to be about what they do going into next season. But I think NLB was one of those teams that it didn't matter who they were playing; they were always able to put up a good show. Um, sometimes their only issue was not being able to close it out, like they had a weeks ago against Snipe Squad, and they were leading that whole game and couldn't close it out. I think that's just one of their things. They need to find their closer. That's got to be the big thing.
Yeah.
Get Money, like you said, they're very similar to NLMB in that sense. Like, hey, it doesn't matter who they're playing, but they're going to put on a show. They're going to make sure, hey, we're going to make you earn this win. You're not going to walk all over us. And I know we have a Flint Tropic here, so but I think it's going to be a great game between Get Money and Flint Tropic. They're definitely going to show up against Flint. And I think that they're really going to make us at times talk about, like, hey, who's going to win this one. So it's going to be a great game. It's all going to be about who shows up more, who's going to want it more. And I still go with Flint. I still think Flint's going to win, but it's going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah, no, Dom. I know you guys got a lot of respect for Get Money and the boys. How you feeling going into this matchup? It's going to be a great one.
Good, man. I mean, dude, they always play us well. I don't know their first names, but I just know them as the McCray brothers. But I know one obviously tore his Achilles. So
Yeah,
if they had a full squad, I think they added the perfect piece with
yeah.
Nas. I think they needed that like uber athletic big that can play both sides of the ball, one through four, 1 through 5. But they could play positionless basketball, and Kyle Davis is a man on a mission right now. He's shooting extremely well, and he was also playing great defensively yesterday. I mean, there was a reason that NLMB was struggling from three, and it's going to be a hell of a game, but we'll get into that in a few.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually completely agree. I saw Kyle playing defense yesterday, and I have not seen Kyle play defense like that in a while. And that's one of the things. He's an athlete. He really reminds me, their games are very different, but guys like him, like Quan, like they're just such athletes that when their shots falling, I don't know what you do to play great defense. I don't know how you're going to guard these guys. So I'm excited for that matchup. We're going to get into the next game. And we got the Snipe Squad boys. You don't see a redemption arc in legacy leagues often. I'm not gonna lie. We'll do a little story time. So Snipe Squad last year. Well, actually, I think it was not last year. It was 2 seasons ago. It was. They went 1-7. They were the 7th seed with the Back Outside Boys, who also Back Outside Boys was NLMB. So we kind of got 2 redemption arcs here going. But Snipe Squad was 1-7. They didn't come back the next season. And we were wondering, all right, is that all we're going to see at Snipe Squad? They went back to college, obviously. They come back, and I remember the first week, Tim Case comes up to us, and he goes, we brought, like, a different team. Like, we kind of got our, like, basketball friends. We kind of – and you saw this week they had all their old teams sitting on the bench. And, man, did Snipe Squad bring a team, because they had Tim, they had Angelo, who are solid guys, but the rest of this bunch, and I got to give a big shout-out to someone. I'm sure Dom can speak on this. It's hard when you go from a regular height basketball rim to then the 8.5, especially for a guy who's a shooter. And this guy, Kyle Kuzano, I can tell he's just like a shooter. He has that standard jump shot, same set every time. It's the same exact jump shot every time.
Dog.
And
dog.
And he's a dog, and he's not shooting that well. The 3 points not really falling at 27%, but he has figured out I just got to attack the rim. And I could not agree more with Dom. This kid's a dog. Nick Cruciulio is a dog. I got to give a shout out to Sunshine Don DeSimone. This guy with the long blonde dreads was doing his thing out there against Lux Gang. And Trayvon Jones on Lux Gang needs to get the ball more. That's my one takeaway from this game. I need Trayvon Jones shooting more than 19 shots a game. He is way too – you guys will see him in the All-Star game. I'm sure he's going to go out. He is way too good to be taking 19 shots per game, especially when – in this close game, especially when Tim Case is doing his thing. I mean, I'm going to go to – who do we got here? We got Brendan. Brendan, how are we feeling about this one? What'd you see in Snipe and Lux game?
I mean, you said it. I think a big piece of that is definitely Trayvon Jones not touching the ball enough. Like you said, I mean, Snipe Squad knows their game plan. They went right to Tim Case as much as they could, and he touched the ball, and that's why they were successful. And I do think the Snipe Squad is a little deeper than Lux Gang for sure. And in that case, I don't know why Trayvon Jones isn't touching the ball more. But as for Snipe Squad, I think they're firing on all cylinders right now. I think if you told me 4 weeks ago that Snipe Squad's coming into the playoffs as a 3 seed, handling a team like Lux Gang, who's a very good team, like you said, all these middle of the pack teams can beat pretty much anybody in this league. And Snipe Squad comes in and they took care of business. And I think I got to give a lot of credit to Tim Case. I mean, not only is he scoring 27 points a game, but he's also facilitating the offense really well, and he's making sure guys like Angelo and guys like Kyle and Dom are all scoring the ball well, and he's just really a good captain overseeing the entire offense, and I think that's just the recipe for the success.
Yeah, no, Tim Case is having one of the most underrated seasons I've ever seen in Legacy Leagues. He's averaging 27 per game, shooting almost 80% from the field, 13 rebounds per game, 5 assists. I mean, pretty much 2 steals. Tim Case is funny because he is their team, and I think that will be their downfall. It's going to be hard. I mean, he has to be Superman every game. Angelo had a great game, but, I mean, I'm so proud of these boys. Lux Gang, I want to give a shout-out to Lux Gang, too. Lux Gang, they were a good squad this year. They fought every year. They had, like, a mix. They had, like, a combo platter of, like, players who would show up, and then a random guy wouldn't come, and then this and that, and they brought their full team to this game. They played really hard, and this could have gone either way very easily. So I just want to give Lux Gang their flowers, but, I mean, I agree with Dom. I think Kyle Kuzano is the big X factor for this team. He's a dog. I mean, the way he drives to the hole, these guys Flint has incredible chemistry. I know these interns know what I'm talking about. You could tell. An old OG team that had chemistry like that, Dom, remember, Team Moose. They just, like, they get each other. And you can tell this Snipe Squad team is really starting to figure it out, and they're clicking. So, you know, their next matchup, we'll get to who they're playing next, but it's going to be big going to the next matchup because they're going to be playing a team that if they get hot from 3, they're going to really have to slow the game down. And we're talking about TMC, everyone's favorite team, the Commissioner's team. Joey, congrats. You guys are moving on to the semis. TMC took out Street Ballers 86-81 in overtime. Man, I mean, this was a game. This game started out, TMC went down 18 right off the bat. And like Dom was saying, Street Ballers kind of had that warm-up. They came in hot. Want to give a shout-out quick to Rico Santiago. I don't know if people know, but Rico is 42 years old. Shout-out Rico for playing a back-to-back at 42 because I know he was laboring out there. He came up to me and was telling me that. I want to give these guys a lot of credit. It's not easy playing a back-to-back, and it's not easy to drop 45 playing a back-to-back, especially, and I'm talking about Joito Acosta, who had his best game I've seen in the biggest moment when the lights were brightest, but it wasn't enough because Devon Pratt turned back the clock, and I don't think I've seen Pratt play like that in, 4 years. I mean, Pratt had 31, 10 of 14 from 3. That was it. He came in the game. They were down 18. He looked at Connor, and Connor goes, I need an OG Pratt performance. And he goes, I got you. And he had 9 straight points. And that was it. And I think that's this TMC team. Look, you got Dave Armstrong. He's one of the best rebounders. Dave plays the game like you want to play with Dave. He's going to rebound. He's going to box out every single shot. The type of guy you want on your team. He's playing some on-ball defense. Will Hudson had a rough game. He really wasn't feeling it. Miles Raymond did his thing. But, I mean, Brendan, I'm going to go to you. What did you see in this one? This was the game of the night. Incredible game. Break it down for us.
I mean, like you said, game of the night. I mean, that's one I didn't want to go home after. That's for sure. I mean, that game was unreal. I mean, shout out to the Street Ballers. I mean, Benji, all those guys did their thing. But like you said, shout out to my boy Hoito. He turned it on tonight. I think or last night. I think 45 points. I mean, I've never seen him do anything like that. I mean, that was like prime Kobe shit. I mean, that he really turned it on, and he was shooting the lights at the gym. And I mean, I'm seeing 360 layup attempts from this guy a game. I mean, this guy goes balls to the wall every game. I mean, he is playing with a dog mindset out there. I mean, it was unreal. I mean, shout out to them. I definitely think that they had the advantage for the first half. I mean, like Dom said before, coming in with a warm up game under their belt. I mean, I was questioning a lot of it. I'm like, oh no, like they're gonna come in, they're gonna be tired after playing a whole game, and then they play a team like TMC who might handle them, but. Then you look at it after the first quarter, I think it's something like 28-6 or 3 or something like that, and you're like, wow, like this could really happen. And I mean, coming down the stretch, still shout out to my boys at TMC. I mean, Reggie and Pratt did their thing. They combined for 64 themselves. I mean, that's unreal. But definitely shout out to the Street Ballers. I mean, those guys had to play 82 minutes of basketball last night. I mean, they left it all out there for sure. I mean, especially in a league like this where you're coming down to OT, it's like 2-minute overtime, first team to score pretty much sits in the driver's seat, and we were one possession away from a 7-seed Street Ballers making the Final Four. So, I mean, definitely shout out to them. I think TMC is definitely going to have their hands full with Snipe Squad. I think it's going to be a great contest for both teams, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, no, let's not forget. Snipe Squad was up 1, and Pratt hit an and 1-3. That was a 4-point swing. If he doesn't hit that, this game went to overtime. We might be talking about a very different conversation. So, again, I want to give a huge shout-out to guys like Benji Valentine, Josh Acosta, Joshua Mercado, Rico, Hoito, these guys. All year they fought. All year they were doing their thing. I'm proud of these guys, man. They did their thing against TMC, and it's not easy. Dom knows. I mean, he was a part of the team. He's played against them. It's not easy playing a back-to-back and trying to guard Reggie Stewart when he's doing circles right around the court. So, you got to set me up there. We're going to get into the playoff preview now. And we got Dom here, so we're going to start with the Flint Get Money semifinals preview. I'm going to go usual order. I'll go Racine, Vin, Brendan. But, Dom, we're going to start with you. We got Flint Tropics against Get Money. This is a rematch from the regular season. I'll pull that up real quick. But, Dom, how we feeling about it going in? Any keys to the game? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Get Money's probably one of the top 3, if not 1 or 2 teams. I don't think their record really reflects how good they actually are. They had that one slip up or a couple slip up games where I think they didn't bring everybody, so they kind of fell short with their record. But they come a full loaded squad, man. They're good. They're going to be tough to beat. They bring a good crowd too.
They do.
Like a lot of the family comes and stuff, so they're going to have a lot of energy. Kyle Davis is going to come ready to. Hopefully he doesn't score 40, but he's been scoring 40 every game. They got Nas, who's excellent, and I think they have, all respect to them, they have great role players. Like, they fulfill every role possible, whether it's rebounding, defensive stops, they do it. So we're going to come ready, though. We do have the big 3. I think our key is, starting early. I think we always start sluggish, but we always pull through at the end. I think we have to really come out swinging and just stay consistent throughout the whole game. Hopefully we have numbers this time, and we can get some rest for the guys here and there, because they do play in other leagues too. And the legs were definitely showing yesterday. We did not shoot well, so I don't expect us to shoot that bad again. Hopefully we come out swinging, and the big 3 just shows up like they usually do, and I think we'll come out with a win.
Yeah, no, last time you guys played, Bizzuto went crazy. He was 9-13. And Pat Drury, he had a phenomenal game against Get Money last time. He had 14 points. He only missed 2 shots. He was huge. And you guys did a good job. Kyle had 24. But besides Kyle, it was Kyle and Nods. Everyone else struggled. But I agree. I love what Dom said, because the unsung heroes of Get Money, and I'm speaking to the kids I coach at Newtown Middle School. Every great team needs role players. It's the classic thing. I'm a baseball coach. No one wants to play right or left field. It's like, guys, every team needs the glue guys, the guys that are going to do the dirty work, that are going to be great locker room guys. Especially in basketball, you need the guys that are going to rebound. You guys need the guys that are going to play hard defense, even when they're not getting their shots up. And I couldn't agree more. That's what Get Money does, and they're going to be a great team. But, I got my boys Flint, Racine, Vin, and then Brendan. Racine, first off, we're going to do picks. Racine, make the pick and tell me why.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get off the get money train here. I'm gonna be
Oh,
going with Flint. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, get money, they are one of the few teams in this league that they can start for and sub out for. They'll take all four of their guys out, including Kyle Davis, but I think that's gonna be the turning point. It's gonna be those non-Kyle Davis minutes where can they sustain their um offensive threat right at the moment until Kyle Davis comes back into the game, which unfortunately, I don't think they'll be able to. So I'm gonna have to go with Flint, and their big three is gonna show up again.
all right. We got two Flint, Vin. Well, three Flint. I know Dom's obviously going Flint. Vin, you changing it up?
No, I think this is. I'm not going to pull a Pat McAfee and pick Alabama over Georgia. Nothing crazy like that. I think Flint just time and time again has proven to us like, hey, no matter what we do, no matter the deficit, the team, we're going to pull out the win. I think that they've just got too much to prove at this point, being undefeated. I think that the big three is just going to show up for another week, ready to go to work. And there's too much for them to lose at this point. And I think, like I said, Flint, it's going to be a great game between this game and then the Snipe Squad Run TMC game. This is going to be the better of the two, but I'm still predicting that Flint's going to walk away with a win and go back to the finals.
All right, Brendan, who you got?
I think ever since I walked into to InSports, I think I've always been a little hard on Flint Tropics. I definitely have been a tough grader in their eyes, and I think they've definitely given me a run for my money and kind of surprised me a couple times. And I think coming down the stretch, I mean, you don't go 9-0 by accident. So I think at the end of the day, as much as I like Get Money, I love their depth. I think they can compete with any team in this league. I really think the Tropics are going to pull this one out. And like I said, as much as I haven't been impressed with them with certain things at times, I think, like I said, you don't go 9-0 for no reason. What's two more wins? So give me Flint Tropics.
Yeah, get him up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, listen,
Hey,
man, this
good
is
pick.
semifinal games. This is like our curse game, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I remember that one year, just Reggie just went off, but then
Yep.
like last year, Fink got the flu, so we just had to come. I wasn't playing either. I had surgery, but this is like our game where we got to get over the hump. Like we're undefeated in championships, but this is the game where we don't get over the
Yeah.
hump. So Get Money's easily a team that could defeat us, but I just think we're on a mission, man. I mean, Bizzuto got because I think we weren't even going to come back this year. Bizzuto got us all together, so we're ready, man. We got to face this team, and they're definitely not a 4 seed, but we got to play. You got to play the best team.
Yeah.
You got to play the best, be the best. So
Amen. No, I agree, and I'm with you. This is a big game for you guys, but I'm with the boys. Love to Get Money guys. Obviously, I'm a huge Kyle Davis fan, but I'm going Flynn. I just Get Money without Tyron. I agree with what Racine said. I'm worried when Kyle and Taisheen aren't on the court. Nas is a great player, but he's not really a volume scorer. If Flint starts, like I've seen Bizzuto. Once Bizzuto gets going, hitting threes, he's gonna hit like 9 or 10. It's just what he does. And the next thing you know, Fink starts yelling out there. Once Fink starts yelling, that's when I'm like, oh, they're running away with this. So I got my boys Flint. It's gonna be a battle though. I could not agree more. This is gonna be a great game. And speaking of another great game, we got Run TMC versus Snipe Squad. Now, this is a fun game because this is like the People's Champ versus like the Yankees or something. I don't know whose Joey's team would be, but this is the Commission's team. They won a chip a few years ago. Obviously, they fell short last year. Hey, TMC Snipe's going to be hard, but I'm going Snipe Squad because TMC hates me already. So, it can't get worse for me with TMC. I'm going Snipe for one reason, and it's Tim Case. But I will say I'm worried because I've seen it many times, and just like Dom said, with TMC, you got to just focus, don't talk, slow the game down. Don't give them extra possessions because if you give Reggie and Pratt and these guys extra possessions to shoot the three, they're going to start getting hot and then they're going to shoot you out the gym. Snipe Squad, don't try to out TMC. Just do what you guys do. Attack the rim, Tim Case is going to get a great matchup, especially if Eric Langston goes to this game. That's going to be a big down low battle with Tim Case, Nick Catrulio, and then we got Dave Armstrong and Eric Langston. So I'm going to go Snipe Squad in this one, but hey, I'll have Reggie Stewart in my nightmares, every night going to sleep before this Thursday night because he has done it a million different times. He's done it for teams when I draft him for all-star teams. Reggie in the biggest moments usually comes through. So I'm going to go classic Racine, Vin, Brendan. Racine, start us off. TMC Snipe.
I'm gonna go with TMC here. You already know that Reggie's gonna show up. He's gonna perform offensively and defensively. But like you guys mentioned in the game versus Street Ballers, Devin Pratt, he needed to drop 31. You said you haven't seen a performance like him from that in a while. Yeah, so the question is gonna be who's gonna step up to help register offensively. So I think somebody will. I'm not sure who that will be, but I think ultimately somebody will, and TMC will take the victory. But I will say that if they get off to a slow start like they did against Street Ballers and they do that against Snipe Squad, I don't think they can come back from that. Tim Case won't let them choke a big lead like that. He's going to keep attacking. So they need to get off to a fast and quick start and sustain their offense. But I'm going to go with TMC here.
Yep, and quick PSA, Snipe Squad, if you're listening, I swear to God, if you guys are in a 6-point game with a minute left and you throw an alley-oop one more time, I'm never picking you ever again. Take the layups. I don't need to see a 360 dunk. Ange, I'm talking to you, Ange. I saw that. Tim Case looked at Ange for that and just screamed, it's a 6-point game, and I'm like, thank God. Because Snipe Squad, you guys got this. The best teams in this league, they're not going to make those mistakes and do stuff like that. So just focus up. I believe in y'all. Vin, how do you feel?
Yeah, this is a very difficult pick for me because Run TMC and Snipe Squad are some of my favorite teams.
Some of your boys on Snipe Squad.
Yes, I have to go Snipe Squad. I have to defend them. I have to go with them on this one. I think, like you said, they're not going to let Run TMC come back into it, but they do have to play their game. Don't let this become Run TMC's game. Don't make the little mistakes like a minute left and 6-point lead. Do not try to do it too much, Play the game that we've seen. I mean, Snipe Squad this year started out ranked number 8 because they lost week 1. They are now the number 3 seed, going to take the number 2 seed in a great playoff semifinal game. But the other thing you have to watch out for is the experience that Run TMC has. They've been in these situations before. They've played against a lot of great teams. Snipe Squad, unfortunately, doesn't have the same experience that Run TMC does. You've got guys like Reggie, he's a killer. He's a killer in this league. I mean, you need a game-winning shot. Reggie's going to be the guy that I pick to take it. Eric Langston, Pratt, as you said, he had one of his best games in forever last night. If this team is going to pull out a win, if Run TMC is going to win, it's due to the experience, being a seasoned team. But I think at the end of the day, Snipe Squad is that team where they're a little young, they're very confident in themselves, they have the coach, they've got a lot going for them right now where they feel like, hey, we could take on anybody, but you got to play Snipe Squad's game, not Run TMC. So give me Snipe Squad. Please prove me right, please.
Yeah, Eric Langston's a big X factor. Brendan, who we got?
I think as long as we've been around, I think TMC has been a giant in this league, and I think that they're always going to come out, they're always going to play and shoot the lights at the gym. But Snipe Squad has just proven to be like they are just like a formula for an upset and a giant killer. So give me Snipe Squad. I mean, I think TMC is a great team. I think, like I said, Reggie, Pratt, Eric Langston, they're always going to come. They're always going to probably score 40, 50 between the three of them. But Snipe Squad's just got something about them right now that if you told me 4 weeks ago, I don't think that they'd be in this 3 seed right now. And just seeing their development just says to me, what's 2 more wins? They've gotten this far. What's 2 more wins? So give me Tim Case and the boys. I know Tim's going to facilitate out there. He's going to find Angelo for those shots, and I think it's going to be a really interesting one to see. And I think hopefully Snipe Squad can pull this one out.
Yeah, no, Dom, you can make your pick if you want, but you also could just talk about these 2 teams. What are you seeing? You played both these teams.
Yeah, man. Fucking Snipe Squad reminds me of a young Flint, man. They are a bunch
They
of
do,
dogs.
right? That's what I
Oh
was
my
saying.
God, Tim Case is like for those who don't know, Matty Sear is one of the best defenders this league
Ooh.
has seen for Flint. And Matty Sear was such a good defender, and he was so strong. And Tim Case is basically Matty Sear, but with like a more offensive around the rim bag, if that makes sense. Dom DeSimone, he's a fucking beast on the boards. He plays his role well. Angelo's such a good shooter. I think that kid Kyle, he could take over a game if he wanted to. So they can really do some damage. However, I do think playoff Reggie is a real thing. I played with him, played against him, and I've seen it happen. You add Devon Pratt to that, who's shooting Steph Curry-esque as of late. You put Eric Langston, who's one of the best legacy league legends this league has ever seen. Dave Armstrong, I think, can match some of Tim's strength. So I think that's where it's like, if Eric Langston does show up, I think it's TMC has the edge. But Snipe Squad's going to give him a game, man. These are two good games coming up.
That Matt Sear is such a good pull because he is literally Matt Sear, which is like a little more offensive game. For you guys, Matt Sear is a 3-time all-defensive team in 4 years he played, and he was the defensive player of the year 1 year, champion. Matt Sear is just one of my favorite guys to watch because he just takes pride in defense, and that's such a good example of like what Tim Case can bring. But I mean, it's gonna be a battle, boys. I mean, TMC Snipe and Flynn Get Money there's gonna be good games, gonna be battles. Maybe I just leaked my finals pick, but whatever. But hey, I'm really excited to see what we're getting into this. I mean, it's gonna be some good games. I'm excited to see who plays first, who plays that 7:00 game, and who plays that 8:00 game. I really do think Eric Langston's a big X factor. I know Dom's played against Eric. Eric's funny. He makes the game different. He sets the tone. He is the game. His personality just like takes over everything, and Eric changes the dynamic of the entire game if he's there.
He's an IQ guy, man. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't give him credit for how smart of a basketball player he is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. And in the words of Eric Langston, the year I interned, when Greg Langston dropped 68, he looked at me and he went, "It's the Langston way, baby." And it's the Langston way. But, I mean, hey, boys, Dom, you got any last messages for the league before we get out of here?
no message for the league. It's been a fun year this year. Flint's got to get it done, baby. I know Chris
Love that.
Rosinski's already over there wishing hate on both TMC and Flint,
See,
but mostly Flint.
it's going to be funny if it's Flint TMC in the finals because I hate to say it, he might want Flint to win more.
No,
I don't know.
Dude, he's boys with Pratt. He'll cheer for them.
True.
All day.
Come
on.
He will.
Can't go against his boys like that.
Nah, you're right. Got to stay loyalty. Well, hey, Racine, Vin, Brendan, I appreciate you on. Dom, a legend in this league, champ. I mean, I was just going through clips. I saw Dom banking in a 3. I just sent it over to Flynn. I mean, hey, I'm ready to see what my boys can do. Obviously I love Flynn, and I couldn't agree more with Dom. This has been a great season. Shout out all the teams this year that fought and, didn't make it to the semis but had some great years. Shout out to Flint, Get Money, Run TMC, and Snipe Squad. We're excited to see what you boys can do. But that was a great post game. Appreciate you all.